If you like the HTC One, but you often think to yourself, this thing is just too big, you'll want to check out the HTC One Mini. I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and the One Mini preserves a very similar look as the HTC One with the metal on the back, the boom sound speakers on the front, and Beats audio installed underneath. And it also has a dual-core CPU, a 4.3-inch 720p HD display, and the same 4 ultra-pixel camera. Can this thing compete not just with the One, not just with the Galaxy S4, but can the smaller form factor compete with the Galaxy S4 Mini? We'll find out in PhoneDog's full video review of the HTC One Mini, which starts right now. If you like the HTC One, but you think to yourself, man, it's just a little bit too big, I wish I had something a little bit smaller, the HTC One Mini could be the device for you because functionality-wise and looks-wise, it packs a very similar look and feel to the HTC One. A 1-2 punch, as HTC said on their Facebook and Twitter feeds this morning, but the HTC One Mini brings it to you in a smaller design. It does make some sacrifices, but when you compare the One and the One Mini to the Galaxy S4 and the Galaxy S4 Mini, the sacrifices are far less. In other words, if you're looking for the mini version, the HTC One Mini, specs-wise and build-wise, is the better device to get. Before I get too far into this video review, I want to give special thanks to my partners at Best Buy Mobile. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. I'll get your email, your web, your contacts set up, so when you walk out the door, everything's set up. You don't have to waste your time doing that at Best Buy Mobile. So, or if you want to, you can do it. That's part of the walkout working program. They'll help you get everything ready to go. So the HTC One Mini here, recap of specifications. It's got a 1.4 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon 400 CPU. It's got a 4.3-inch 720p HD display. So it does still have an HD display. It's smaller, and it's not 1080p, it's only 720p, but smaller, still HD, can't beat that. 4 ultra-pixel camera, it does not have optical image stabilization, but it still does bring the HTC Zoe capabilities to the table here. 1,800 milliamp hour battery, 1 gigabyte of RAM, boom sound speakers as you can see on the front along with a front-facing camera, and design language overall very similar. I should point this out, HTC made note that they pulled in some user feedback from the HTC One, and a lot of people did not care for the way the volume rocker worked on this device. The up and down button's a little bit harder to press, so HTC kind of pulled an Apple, if you will, with this, and not comparing it to the iPhone, obviously, but they pulled an Apple and kept the buttons separate so you could easily press up and down and not have to worry about that little weird gummy area in the middle, which is really nice. So again, really a good looking device here, and that's a sacrifice that they made in terms of RAM, a sacrifice obviously in the processor department and in the screen department, but you're getting an HD display here still at 4.3 inches, which I've really been pleased with in my time with this device. Also want to point this out, unlike the HTC One, you've got the metal build over here, there's kind of a plasticky look and feel here on the sides, and it's hard to show you on camera, but see if I can get it close so you can take a look. This is definitely kind of a plasticky look and feel as opposed to the HTC One where, yeah, it's not metal here in the middle, but it's still not as plasticky as this feels. So this definitely has a plastic feel to it. It feels like something from perhaps, I'm trying to think of an example in terms of feel, but can't really think of anything at the top of my head at the moment. But a little bit different there. It is a different feeling, even though it's got metal on the back. I do notice that from time to time. It doesn't bother me, but if you like the all metal look and feel, it may bother you, so keep that in mind. This is an unlocked device. It's not available in the US on a carrier just yet. It is coming very soon, I'm assuming, to online specialty retailers like Negri Electronics at negrielectronics.com, so keep an eye out at their website. Here's the Apple iPhone 5 with a 4-inch display, so you can see the size difference right on par roughly with the iPhone 5. Here's the 8XT, which I just unboxed a second ago on camera, and then here is the HTC One like I showed you at the start of the video. So look and feel wise, a little bit different. Actually, here's a Butterfly S as well, so we can show you that one in comparison versus the HTC One Mini. So a smaller device. Let's jump right in and take a look at what's different. Sense 5 here running atop Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean. So Sense 5 is running out of the gate on top of Android 4.2. So you're getting it out of the box. You're not waiting for an update. Android 4.2 Jelly Bean rolls out with this device at launch. And you've got the same quick settings up here at the top, which I can access either by pulling down with both fingers or pulling down with one finger and swiping over just like that. Easy and quick. Sense 5 here, same goodies that you get with the HTC One, including blink feed here, which I've pre-configured in my time with the device. And you can see all of my blink feed stuff. Reuters, AP, and with Android 4.2.2, you have the ability to add, it's very fun to say Android 4.2.2, but you can add Instagram to your HTC blink feed as well as part of the Android 4.2 update. So Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Flickr, and Facebook, not to mention your calendar, your gallery, and then kid mode as well if you want to. But same look and feel as Sense 5 here with the bar down at the bottom. You've got your back and your home button, which pressing and double tapping accesses recent applications. And I've got my back button, and then here is my menu button down here at the bottom of my dock, which I can move stuff around as I want to. If I want to put Yelp down here, for example, I can do that. If I want to bring messages down and put it in the same folder as browsing, I can do that and rename the folder as I see fit. So still really fast here. I think a lot of concerns that people had revolved around speed. People were like, with a dual-core processor, with a 1 GB of RAM, can this thing compete with, for example, the HTC One, the iPhone 5, all the different high-end devices on the market? And so far for me, it can. It can compete pretty well. And I should point out 16 gigabytes of internal storage here as well. No micro SD card slot, but still, I think the target demographic they're going for a little bit different for the HTC One Mini than the flagship HTC One. But the question a lot of people had, is it fast? Does it perform well? And so far for me, it's been really impressive. I haven't had any slowdowns, any issues with the dual-core processor or 1 GB of RAM. So far, so good. I've been pretty pleased. But out of the box, you get typical stuff that you get with all of the HTC Unlocked devices. 7 digital. You get car mode. Let's go down through here. Flashlight, key VPN, kid mode as well, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Parent dashboard. Our wedding plan, which is actually for my wedding. That has nothing to do with HTC. That's an application I'm testing out. Then personal life, PDF viewer, and then you got TuneIn Radio, Yelp, which I installed myself, and then Google Plus integration as you would expect, Google Plus Messenger, Google Plus Settings, and Hangouts, which replaced Google Talk. Let's take a quick look at the keyboard here and see the differences there. Let me find my messages. Where'd I move those suckers around? There we go. 4.3-inch display again. Keyboard, a little bit hard for me to type just because I have pretty big thumbs, and you can see just my 2 thumbs kind of space the entire keyboard here. Much easier on the HTC One than it is on the HTC One Mini, but you've still got portrait and landscape mode. And again, just take a look at the speed here and day-to-day stuff. Pretty fast. I haven't really had any issues with speed. Quick Brown Fox is happy that the weekend is here. Quick Brown Fox is happy that the weekend is here. Portrait to landscape mode, nice and fast. No real differences here. I can't highlight anything that's really changed here versus the HTC One, particularly when you compare it to the HTC One that's already gotten Android 4.2, the global version. So no real differences here. I can add contacts as I see fit, and you can see right there all of my test contacts that I have here in the phone. So 858-200, actually that's a demo phone number. So easy to access, and I should point out, let me find my Sprint 8XT just so you can see what it looks like. The number is 913-601-1268. And so I can pull up and quickly, I was going to send a text message, but actually I decided against it. Never mind, not worried about it. Let's go into the camera here as well. 4 ultra pixel camera, no shortcut button on the side, but you do get all of the stuff, like I said, the Zoe capabilities here. So I can bring over the HTC Butterfly S. I'm going to do a quick comparison here. 4 ultra pixel camera. Spoiler alert, images look just as great on this device as they do on the HTC One. As long as the OIS or optical image stabilization isn't important to you, they look really nice. So I'm going to zoom in here, take a couple of pictures. I'll take the Zoe actually, which is what I'm doing right now. And I'll move it around. I'll take a Zoe, let's say, of my computer keyboard. I will take a Zoe of my external monitor. And let's go ahead and do a couple of stills as well, just so you can see what I'm talking about here. You can bring all these together and create an awesome HTC Zoe, and you don't have to do anything on the device side. That HTC One feature continues on the HTC One Mini. So I can go into Gallery and go in here, for example, and go to Events. And just by seeing, I can see all my videos, which should start up. We'll take a look here, for example. And you can see these videos are moving in real time in the gallery, but all I have to do is come up here, and I can start up this HTC Zoe. It's a really cool feature. And you can see it brings together all those videos that I took, all those pictures I took. So great for a wedding. I could use this at my wedding. Great for a wedding, great for vacations where you're taking a bunch of pictures and Zoes, and it combines them together. And if you ever get tired of that particular style, all you have to do is come down here. And this is something that's new to Android 4.2 and the One Mini. I see the shortcuts here, Boulevard, for example, and it'll change around the overall style of the video itself. And then from there, I can go down here, load it up, start it back up. And if I want to, I can share it with my friends as well. So a very cool feature that I like a lot. Stick around for part 2. Got a lot to cover in that one. I want to show you HTC's Sense capabilities when it comes to wallpaper changes or just setting up devices from your computer. It's a very cool feature that's really underrated, that hasn't been talked about a whole lot, that I love that HTC's doing. And you can easily access it from your computer. It's HTC's Get Started. We'll talk about it in part 2 along with Quadrant Standard, speed tests, and more. Stick around for part 2.